voices, 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 voices. Where everyone gets a chance to speak their minds, including the voices in our heads. So, welcome to the space where we listen, discuss, and learn as we navigate through life as Generation Now. I'm one of your hosts, Bianca.
And I'm the other host, Nika. And today's episode is going to be a big one.
Why?
Because, as you can see, we're looking at us corporate girlies. We're talking about first jobs. So whether you're set on your dream career or you need a bit more guidance or just, you're totally lost, we'll try to cover everything here. We're all here to learn and take the next big steps in this new phase of life together.
Period.
But before we get into anything, Bianca, what exactly is NYLON Manila Voices?
Well, Nika, NYLON Manila Voices is the podcast where we discuss all the things that we as the young generation wish we knew so that we have the proper tools to navigate the world as Generation Now and change the world then.
Wow,
Kasi
world
we're
changers.
talking about something big today. Okay, so in Voices, we've got 3 segments. So take us to the first segment.
Right, so first we've got What's the Sitch, where we lay down the facts on the NYLON Manila radar. Like, what's on the minds of Gen Z when we're first entering the workforce? Like, what are we looking for in a first job? And, let's face it, it's getting a little harder to secure the bag, and live our career dreams. So we're also going to look into the struggles that young people entering the workplace face today.
Workplace, workforce, work.
Work. That's
Ayan.
all we do here.
Work. And then we are spilling the tea with our special guest that you guys will be meeting later. So what was it like with their first job? What were their experiences? Did they struggle? Did they question it? And we will be also having some students later on to talk about what they're looking for in their first job.
And then lastly, as usual, in our SOS segment, we'll be sending out the bad signal to some experts who have seen and heard it all, where we can learn all about how to kill it on your first interview, to handling the stress and moving forward when things don't feel like they're right.
Yes. So to help us with talking about all of this, everything that has to do with your job, the first job, whatever it may be, we have Sophia Padre, who is a content creator that you may have seen share her business school journey online. So joining us as well are Kyla, Amadora, and Shaun, Peregrina, who are students that will share their perspectives and thoughts when it comes to getting their first job.
And lastly, we'll be joined by life and career coach Aurora Suarez, who will be giving us expert input and insight on today's topic, which, it'll help the job search, if you're searching for a job, a little bit easier and hopefully a little bit less overwhelming. Ready?
Let's get working!
Welcome to our first segment, What's the Sitch? Everyone, please welcome our first guests, content creator and business school graduate Sophia Padre, and students Kyla, Amadora, and Shaun, Peregrina. Hello, guys!
Hi,
Could
guys!
you introduce yourself for us, please?
Yes.
Okay, so I guess you'll
Go,
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 first.
go.
so
I
I guess you'll go first.
Okay, hi everyone. Hi everyone, I'm Shaun Peregrina from UP Diliman. I'm currently a third year student and currently medyo naghahanap na kami ng internships right now and malapit na kami sa mga job experiences na namin in life. So
Ayun na nga
yes,
ba?
perfect, right?
Divine.
Hi guys, I'm Kyla from De La Salle University. Currently a 5th or 6th year student in Com Arts and Marketing. And currently I don't know what to do since I am about to graduate. So I'm really happy to be here.
Yes. We hope to navigate.
The careers?
Yes, the careers.
Okay, so I guess I'm next. So hi guys, my name is Sophia Padre. I am a beauty and lifestyle content creator, but I do came from a marketing background also.
Ooh.
Yee.
A corpo girly.
Wow.
Perfect.
Yes, and other than that, so I just recently finished my master's in Rome. Yeah, yes.
Tell us. Such a slave.
And
Slave.
I'm a commercial executive of an FMCG company also.
Wow.
Ayun na nga. Ayun na ba? Okay.
Period. So, guys, welcome. Welcome to Voices. We're so happy to have you guys and to have you all share your voices with us. So, with that, what is the sitch? What is on your radar with everything that has to do with the first job and the workplace world? So, here at Voices, we know that everyone trying to get a job for the first time, hi, Kyla, has a lot of things going through their mind. And trust me and Nika definitely get why. So let's get into it. So our first question, na any of you can answer, or we can just make it a conversation. Are what do Gen Zs usually look for in a first job?
Pero po. Tama
No
ba yun?
hesitation.
Pera.
Tama ba yun? I mean, no filter naman. I think it's kind of a taboo topic in our university na parang may mga times na kapag tinatanong ko yung mga friends ko, ano bang hanap mo after you graduate? And most of them would actually say na, financial stability, yung saan may pera, saan sila makakaipon. Kasi I think it comes from a peer pressure or family pressure na yeah, you get free tuition, but at the end of the day, you have to give back to your family. You have to give back to
May
whatever.
pagka-breadwinner.
Yun talaga, as much as Gen Zs look for passion into something that they do, pera talaga yung minakahabol ng Gen Z.
Yeah, you gotta be very
Right.
lucky or very privileged to be able to mix those two together. Diba? What about you, Kyla?
Well, for me, I guess I'll bank on what Sean said as well. In LaSalle culture, kasi actually there are a lot of TikToks trending about LaSalle being, or LaSallian students rather being burgis. Kasi when people ask them, what salary do you expect? Yung iba, 40,000, 50,000, 60,000.
Oh, may
It's
nakita
so-
kong TikTok na parang
yeah.
400 or
Diba?
100,000.
And although it is really at some point unrealistic, we have to, or at least I sometimes think about na bakit ba namin sinasabi yun, na ito yung expectations namin. It's because the economy is really expensive at the moment, and with the education that we're getting, or at least with the education that our families are paying for, we do expect a good amount of salary, or at least a fair salary from a first job at least. So these amounts that Gen Zs ask for isn't just because they're money hungry, but there's actually a good reason for it. Besides the economy, the lifestyle that we want to have, our dreams, our aspirations. Kaya I would say yes, money is also a big factor in a first job, but also a good environment is number one, for at least for me.
Yeah, siguro most of the people then kasi look for something na similar to their working environment, like their organizations. Say for example, like, ma-apply ko ba yung mga natutunan ko from my organizations or from the peers that I've worked with in the corpo or like whatever job it may be. So yeah.
I can relate to that a lot because in school, when I was still in school back in my day,
Parang ang tagal na nun, sis.
So long ago.
Sobra.
are you? Sobra. Joke lang. Back in our school days, kasi I was super org active, and I know that the two of you can relate to that. So I really was looking. I think when I was looking for my first job, I wanted something na community na ang dami kong friends na ganon. So hindi share ko lang. Na parang I just
Tama
wanted to
naman, tama
relate that.
naman.
I really agree with that kasi I think there are a lot of org active students that may be watching, and ayun, I think it's something a
In
lot
our
of people
terms,
can.
it's BS org.
BS org.
Yeah.
Yes, correct. What about you, Sophia? What insight?
For me, I think one of the tagal ko nang hindi nakapag-apply ng job, but I'm trying to recall like years back. Maybe for me, when I was trying to find my first job, aside from money, I guess one of the most important thing is what the company can give in terms of growth for myself. Kasi parang I think the first job sets the foundation also and plays a critical role on my career and development. And for me back then, it was so important kasi parang relationship lang yan, di ba? Parang gano'n.
Hugot na siya.
I wanted to view my first job as something long-term for me also. So before you commit to a relationship, even to your job, it's so important to see yourself growing with that too. Ayun.
She's thinking
Very
long
interesting.
term.
Long term.
Yeah.
But that like shows like how there's a difference of like priorities for every person.
Exactly.
Like it depends also like on your privileges and
Depends
like,
also on the
your-
school.
on the opportunities,
Yeah.
right? In the school also. So if you have like different priorities, like you want to grow or you want to be a creative
Or
diba? you want
financially
financially
independent
secure.
or
Yeah, those are all
stable.
like priorities you should take into consideration. Ano naman, what are some misconceptions that Gen Z? I guess you would have your own like misconceptions, but common like misconceptions or things people get wrong when they're about to enter the workforce? Something that you've learned maybe from your internships or from people advising you to go somewhere.
Would it be okay if I answered?
Yeah, I think you should answer first, then
Okay,
we'll
sige,
back on
baka
it.
I'll answer
Yeah.
first. Kasi this is something that I think Nika and I have talked about. There's a certain pressure that comes with when you just graduated. I think there's a certain pressure that a lot of fresh grads feel na they have to take the first offer they see on the table. Because ayun nga, like, oh my God, I qualified for something. But they don't actually realize that there's so much more for you out there in the working world. And you don't know actually as a fresh grad when you get out of school, what are you actually going to prioritize first? So I don't know if that's a misconception, but I think it's something that a lot of Gen Zs are impulsive. They're very impulsive when it comes to the workplace. Because I can say that when I got my first job offer, I was like, it's this one. I didn't even look. Like, I didn't even look
Perfect.
at other places. I was
Parang
like,
it was
it's
meant
this
for
one.
you na, di ba?
Like, and then signing kung ano-ano na lang na hindi mo alam yung the terms
Terms
or
and conditions.
yeah, like taxes. Like you weren't super
Oh, yeah.
educated
Yeah,
on that
that's
kasi
true.
in school.
Yeah,
eh.
we're not. Actually, we don't know that.
Yeah,
Charot
diba?
lang.
So it's-
Eme lang yan. Alam naman namin yun. Pero like, we don't...
The actual process kasi. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
differs from
yeah,
like
yeah.
And there's
company
so
to
many
company.
things na the forms that you have to fill out, the SSS, BIR, NBI.
Alam niyo ba yun?
Of course.
Alam naman namin.
Alam naman namin.
Pero...
Alam niyo ba?
di
Sana
natin-
sana nga wala akong hit sa NBI.
Naku, cleared naman. Cleared naman.
Cleared, guys, I'm clear.
Okay. Anyway, pero yun, I don't know if that's so much a misconception, but I think that's something that a lot of Gen Zs or fresh grads go through when they're applying for their first job. What about you guys?
Parang narinig kayo lahat sa akin, so I guess. I think one common misconception is that you're supposed to apply for a job that's related or more related to your course, di ba? So, pag kailangan marketing rin yung role. Or kapag kailangan com-arts related rin yung role. Like, guys, ako, my first job was industrial engineering.
Ano daw?
Industrial, it
Could you repeat
related.
it to our audiences right here?
Oh, yeah. Let me repeat it again for you guys. I graduated marketing
Okay.
and had been in industrial engineering. Like,
wow.
never.
How?
When and where?
I know,
Sobrang
right?
layo.
I know, right? So I guess that's a common misconception. Kasi parang for me, back then, since I was really prioritizing growth, I was able to see a potential to grow in another field that I was not really, never in my life did I expect engineering. But also because parang taking a step back, it was a multinational industrial company also. Engineering in such a sense that I need to know the products then. So it gets a little bit technical. Marketing also in a sense that's like this, like that. So technically, there's really no such job as like marketing lang. So
Yeah.
you're supposed to like be open also to other potential and opportunities other
Yeah.
than what you graduated in.
Yeah.
That's true. You feel like you're boxed in kasi you feel like the past 4 years, like that's all you've been taught, like that's all you've been exposed to. But you're not, but you're free to try out things. And I think that's one thing that we're so scared of, like as Gen Z, na parang I don't want to go beyond what I know. But sometimes that's where you find
Comfort.
Yeah, that's where you find comfort. That's where you find like where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, parang being open to wearing other hats.
Yeah, diba?
Yes.
And before we move on, what are some problems that you fresh grads like run into when you're looking for your first job? I guess similar din to like when you apply to your internships, ganon, like some problems that you're running into or things that you don't know or things that you're finding hard to navigate.
I think one of the hardest things na around my age would have experience is yung hindi nila na-prioritize yung paghahanap ng mga valid IDs kapag naghahanap ng mga jobs or something like that. Or parang adulting in general. Parang feeling ko kasi sapat
Parang
na
may
yung...
mga guilty dito. Wait lang.
Parang...
Mayroon daming guilty.
Parang kasing sapat na... Sobra!
You know what? Everyone in the room just went. Like everyone in the
Hindi,
room
kasi,
just went, oh my God.
okay, for context, kapag nag-a-apply ka ng job kasi, or siguro for me, when I was applying for internship, hindi ko naman talaga alam kung ano yung mga need kong i-secure for myself before entering it. Parang ang alam ko lang, parang lang ako nag-a-apply ng org. May CV, may portfolio, then tapos na. Parang ganon. Pero siguro in a more realistic sense, you have to be able to also do your adulting things, if I'm not mistaken. Parang feeling ko ganon. Parang feeling ko kailangan,
Adulting things meaning filling out the forms and
yeah, by yourself. And stuff like that.
By
I mean,
yourself.
nagawa ko naman siya for myself, pero baka lang may mga taong, parang, ang dami, na-overwhelm agad sa dami ng
Oo.
mga information.
Oo.
Pero you also have to equip yourself na, you have to read stuff and do background checks and research.
Do you find that like studying at universities during the pandemic kind of made that
hard.
harder or like worse? Na parang it's harder for you to do other things, like adulting things, because you've been we've been like cooped up for so long. I guess you wouldn't know, but like, is that also such something that your batch, I guess, would have experienced? Or parang nag-iba talaga siya, you know this.
Well, maybe for me, when I was applying for jobs before, similarly, hindi ko gusto mag-adulting early. I
Right?
don't think it was
No one likes filling up forms.
I don't think it was a choice for me, pero it's part of learning. And I guess siguro, even if, I'd like to think, even if you're cooped up, sobrang laki rin kasi ng digital and how people are able to like support better. And in fairness naman, parang there are certain companies, so I guess that's a tip also sa mga mag-a-apply, that you have to ask your HR because they're gonna normally ask you like, is this your first job? Because usually, madami pa silang other people that are first jobs too, and then they combine everything, and then they submit it na lang in behalf of you. So, adulting tips. Before you do everything on your own, you can also ask help.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nika, diba? You have an experience like that? The
Di alam.
Wait, ano nga ulit daw yun?
when you asked HR for help,
Right.
when you were
okay,
first
so
applying.
kasi- no, when I applied then, it's hard to ask, but then I would rather ask and get that experience over with rather than parang go into it blind and make even more mistakes. So nung nag-a-apply ako, ang dami kong tanong sa HR as in like bullet points. As in she had to be like, can I call you instead so I can answer it? So we had the call and she answered it. So I was like, okay, great. At least I got that over. And I knew like how to move forward now.
Yeah, and something you can get from that is don't be afraid to ask for help, guys. Also, don't be afraid. You're listening to us. We're gonna talk about all of things that have to do with first job. And now we are getting into our next segment, which is Spill the Tea, in where we delve a little deeper into the experiences of applying for a first job and our personal experiences with first jobs or the workplace in general. So, for this segment, we are going to be looking at all perspectives and spilling the tea. And now we're going to spill the tea. And for the segment, we'll be looking at all of the perspectives. And for some of us entering the workforce, we definitely need the help, right? So please welcome life and career coach, Aurora Suarez. So hello, Coach Aurora. Would you please kindly introduce yourself to our audience?
Hi everyone. It's so nice to be here. I'm really happy to be part of this awesome panel. I'm learning a lot. And thank you to NYLON for having me here.
Ayaw, kalig naman. Excited na sila actually to hear. Listening intently.
Yes.
We're all very like, they're all like,
Hindi nakakalatina to, ha? Hindi nakakalatina to.
Ay, hindi, Latina ka pa rin, syempre.
Sobra! Sobra!
So we're more than excited to hear everyone's like tea, spilling the tea. And first, we'll actually start with you, Coach Aurora, and Sophia. What was it like to get your first jobs?
So I got my first job quite a long time ago. So in the last century pa. So not in this century. And I think like Bianca, I took, I applied to many positions. I really wanted to work for an advertising agency, but like Bianca, I took the first job that was offered to me. And but it was cool because it was a marketing job for a big snack company then. And what attracted me to the position, because they offered me, it's like, oh my gosh, someone wants me. So yes.
You are just like that.
Yeah. So I think that was what really attracted me to the position. It's you want me? Okay. I want you to.
You think I'm good enough.
Like,
You think
I'm so special.
Right. It's like the relationship, right? I'm
Yeah,
like, I'm
yeah.
easy. I wasn't looking for something
Marupok
long term.
pala.
I was just easy.
I guess half a century. Half
Half a century. So tayo a decade and eight. A decade and eight!
So not so long ago, story time yun. Okay.
Go.
So when I applied for my first job, actually I was super like steps ahead na because I was already parang in my head, oh my gosh, shucks. Like by the time that October kasi then, people will be applying so much. So bago pa lang mag-October, it was like April and May, mag-a-apply na ako.
Perfect.
Actually, di ba?
Okay,
Kasi
okay.
parang there's this waiting time when you graduate and upon graduation where you have more time. And people usually, okay, since I'm gonna chill and hindi pa naman ako graduate, then you can just apply when the time comes after graduation. But reversing the situation in my head, parang, oh, shucks. October, ang daming mag-a-apply. So, ngayon pa lang, I'll start applying. And I guess parang it worked for me because by then, I didn't have as much competition as I would have if nag-apply
You
ako
applied in
nung
October. Yeah.
But marupok rin naman ako. But not as rupok naman. You know,
First
like,
job
equals
equals 10%.
So parang, I guess parang the thing with me is, since I think naman, di ko masabi. But anyway,
Go
because
lang.
I graduated with Latin honors. Yes! So parang in my
Ayaw ko
head,
sabihin, perfect
nahiya ako,
naman.
di ko masabi. Parang for
Perfect
me,
naman itong taong to.
for me, parang in my head, okay, since I graduated like with Latin honors, and I think I deserve naman to be able to really choose like where I want to be and the jobs that I had back then. So, ayun, parang happy naman ako with the options. I really took my time applying earlier on and seeing what was best. I don't know if that was industrial engineering then. But maybe at the end of the day, it was then. But yeah.
What was meant for you landed in your as your first
Yes.
job. Oh, love to see
Hala,
it.
so ibig sabihin, lahat kami mag-a-apply April na.
Yes, thank you.
So
Thank you for the tip.
So the competition is high now. So October na kayo mag-apply. Baliktarin na natin
Huwag niyo
ulit.
kaming sabayan ni Shaun. Mag-a-apply na kami
April
ngayon.
kami mag-a-apply guys ha.
Since you talked about earlier na parang financial security talaga yung goals nyo, I guess, in an ideal world, like what would be like your dream job? Like what would be the markers for it?
Passion. For me, I'm really passionate about anything in media because that's basically my course. I think I forgot to introduce that to myself.
Yourself.
Yeah, myself.
Media
Pero
talaga.
something in media talaga, like doing events, doing productions, like commercials or something. It's something that you're passionate about talaga. Pero kasi most of us have this like notion na when you do your passion talaga, una sa lahat, hindi ganun nga ka-financially stable or hindi siya job secure. Tama ba yung term kanina? Job security.
Pwede naman.
Hindi naman siya.
But look
Good
at,
naman.
as a content
I mean,
creator
before,
now.
before. Yeah.
Ngayon ka pa lang naman mag-a-apply. So,
Yeah,
pwede
so
pa.
secured na pala ako.
This April siya
Oh,
mag-a-apply.
this
guys.
April.
Pero ayun, may notion na gano'n. And then parang in an ideal world, parang gusto natin na nagagawa natin kung ano yung gusto natin and yung what we love talaga. Kaso may mga factors din na parang, paano kapag na-burnout na ako sa passion ko, wala na akong pupuntahan. Diba?
So
I
I
see,
guess,
Coach.
Kyle, what's interesting is I actually got my dream job. I also worked in a media company, actually a magazine company. Yeah, and it was really my dream job. And everyone is saying, oh, you can't make money off your passion, but I really did. I mean, and I think that's something, sometimes people already kind of rain on your dreams, but I think if you can give yourself the chance, I mean, it might pay, which I was very lucky. I started very early, again, last century. So I started very early, but what Sophia is saying is that now you can make money, you can make good money being a content creator. So, and in fact, now I feel there's even more opportunity to make your career, to mold your own career because of technology, because of the reach. I literally when I applied for my first job, I literally walked the streets of Ayala dropping off paper resumes. So
Oh
that's
my
wild. I mean, so I'm
gosh.
saying that, and at that time I was able to find a job I was passionate about and paid the bills. I mean, not a lot. I mean, my bills, my needs, I also adjusted my needs because I said, okay, what is more important is that I would love to work in this place, and I don't, I'm not gonna have a lavish lifestyle. Like, that's not my priority now. My priority is like, I want to work in magazines and I want to make this a career. So the lavish lifestyle, which I guess never really happened because you really don't make a lot of money in media, but I mean, it's really you just have, you, I guess, prioritize. And I think I was also very lucky that social media wasn't around, so there was no pressure. But again, you can also say X to social media, right? I don't need to be on it. These are all choices which we make. And again, I'm very lucky. I was in the right place at the right time. But we can all be, right? Like Sophia
Yeah.
was.
Yes.
Even
Yes.
Bianca landed in this awesome place after her first
Perfect.
job.
Bianca and Nika, Bianca and
So,
Nika.
please don't give up. Yeah. I mean, try. At least give yourself that you tried.
Yeah,
Like
it is
just try.
possible
Yeah.
to to live your passions, and yun nga, it's like it's priorities mo talaga eh. Like if
Yeah.
at some point you feel na okay, this is no longer, if you're living like your dream job, and then at some point you're gonna anticipate na, oh, this is no longer right for me. You just you feel it talaga eh. So you just have to act on it and not be afraid to like try the things out.
Yeah. Go.
And for me, why not do both? Hello?
Both.
Yeah, I mean like,
Perfect.
Yeah.
diba, parang right now kasi it was also one of my constraints. Like, do I become a content creator? Should I go corporate? But parang if given the opportunity, especially with how it is now, and if you find the opportunity to do both, why not? Diba? Parang
Yeah.
go.
Yeah,
Kaya mo yan, girl.
Basically,
Yeah.
we gotta start somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
we
And
gotta start
basically,
somewhere.
bet on yourself. Give yourself
yes.
at least a fighting chance that you
Yes.
tried.
Yes.
You tried. And I love what Sophia is saying is that sometimes the job doesn't have to be the thing that you're passionate about. You can do the job to support you. And then the thing can be the thing after the job ends, and that'll be, I think, so awesome.
And you're still young. We're still young. We still have.
We all are
Yes,
still
yes.
young.
I'm still young.
Exactly. Our your career is not a one size fits all type of thing. It's not, you have one path, that's what you do for the rest of your life. You're
Right.
supposed to make mistakes. You're supposed to go through different experiences. So you're able to form yourself and you make your mark in this world, right? So like when we were talking about dream jobs, I was thinking about Nika because Nika, I think you've always wanted to be a writer, right? And that's your first job that you got outside of college. So but I think also with dream jobs, I think yes, there, if we do have the opportunity, for example, to pursue something that is our passion and pursue something that and have that also be something that can cater to us, parang cater to our financial needs. But I think there's also that side of a dream job being in line with the priorities you set. For example, like my dream is to provide for my family one day. So that may not be in line with my passion, but at least it's still something that's still what I want to do
Right,
with the
right.
career that I take. So there is a lot of different definitions for dream jobs, and there are a lot of different definitions, I think, for your first job, career, anything that has to do with that. So speaking of jobs, of course, we have to look at the workplace environment. So there's a lot of, with the corporate, we see it already how it's portrayed in the movies. Na parang, for me, what came into my mind was The Devil Wears Prada. Na parang they're all in an office or something like that. Or Set It Up. Do you guys know Set It Up, the movie?
Yeah, I know, I know, I
Like
know.
that. Like
I love
that's
that.
the corporate. I don't know. I don't know if that's the best depiction, but that's what
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
think usually when we look at the corporate world. And then you have the more freelancer type jobs. I think na you're more independent. Um, so what for you guys, for Kyla and Shaun, what do you guys look for? Are you guys more for the corporate or are you guys more for the freelancer type?
I would
Corporate na 9 to
say
5 or the freelancer like
I would say
independent?
I'm both.
Because
Ooh.
I am personally marakitera kasi ako even in college. Like even till
Yeah.
ever since I guess second year college talaga. I've always been studying slash doing things on the side, freelance this, freelance that. Internships, different internships talaga. So with that question actually, whether I want to be in corporate or in freelance, I want to look for something that I can do both. I think similar to what Pia said earlier na if I can do both, then I will. I guess one thing also na is very very important to me if I do corporate after college is if they are welcoming. Yun yung number one rule ko to myself na I'd love to be in a setting where people are welcoming so that if I feel that I'm welcomed in a place, then I can do my job well. So, yun nga, if corporate, then I'd be happy. But at the same time, I'd also love to be in a place where I can do me, myself. So that's basically for me. What about you?
Oh, thank you so much.
What about you?
Parang yung podcast natin to tayo, di ba? Siguro for me, the thing about corporate kasi is you're bounded by time and you have your own working hours. And then after that, it's either you work overtime or basically do whatever you want to do in life. And that's a good thing actually. I think we all should prioritize working hours within ourselves.
Papatama si Shaun.
Guys.
Ano mga internship na to?
Kasi parang feeling ko kailangan natin mag-set ng boundaries within ourselves na hanggang ano lang ba yung limit ko. Kasi you also have to have your personal time, your me time, your alone time. Your social battery can only last for not 24 hours. 23 hours. Sorry.
Si Shaun, 25.
25. Pero ayun, parang okay lang din sa akin yung corporate job. Pero gusto ko din ng something na freelance. Kasi siguro kasi with regards to freelance, I can accept the work that I want. But at the same time, I can also decline. Unlike kapag corpo, parang kung ano lang yung binigay sa'yo na task, yun na yun. Parang hindi ka pwedeng magreklamo na para bang, sorry. Pero, mali ako.
Mali ako.
Tama ka.
It's also a sense of like yung prioritizing nga talaga. Kasi
Yeah.
I think personally, like I would not want to spend like my entire day. And that's like 5 days a week, diba? I don't want to spend like most of my day doing something that I would be miserable. Like I don't want to be like miserable what I'm doing. So if that's something that you prioritize, but then I also know like some people would be like, okay, that's fine. I can do whatever during my work days, but then it gives me the opportunity and like the privilege to do whatever I want to do outside of it as well. So those are like the different sides of it.
I have like a dumb question.
No
Like,
dumb questions here.
No dumb questions.
okay, sige, this is an intelligent question.
Perfect.
Wow.
What is your intelligent question?
Yung question ko, anong difference or is there any difference between a corporate job and a desk job? Kasi parang feeling ko, we associate corporate job na, okay, you're gonna sit there for like 9 to 5. Yun lang. Parang ganun kasi yung conception ko or maybe most of us na kapag sinabi mong corporate job, 9 to 5 desk job, you're gonna sit on your computer, you have your break, but like, you go back to it, ganyan. Pero kasi feeling ko may mga corporate jobs naman na hindi naman siya desk job. Pero you have your own like working environment. It's a working space, not really a desk job. You have your own desk, something like that.
Coach, do you think you can
I think,
answer?
yeah, look at all these people. They're obviously not at their desk, but they are all working.
Yes.
So I think really, it really depends on the company. There are different parameters. Of course, like more creative companies are, have more freedom. And I think even in like more corporate environments, like a multinational and FMCG, for example, a marketing team and the sales team would have a lot more freedom. So that is still, in fact, there's really no 9 to 5 in the Philippines. That's an American
Actually.
invention. I think it's a lot longer, right? Yeah. It's actually 9 to 6, 9 to 7. I mean, it really depends. I don't know, but it's not a 9 to 5.
Yeah, it depends.
Yeah.
Invento lang pala tayo.
It's an
With
American
this traffic, hindi
concept.
ka aabot sa 9.
I know.
Right. So I think but then of course there are roles like if you're in accounting, if you're in legal, where you do have to stay at your desk. So there's really no, in fact, if you ask anyone it's so funny. One of the questions they usually ask, what's your day today? Like, I'm sure, what does your day look like when they interview you? What does a regular day look like for you? And you're like, what does that even mean? And I think no one can really answer that because everyone's days look very different. So it depends on the
It
company and it
depends, yeah.
depends on the roles.
Yeah, kasi I think that's one of the misconception. Baka bumalik sa unang tanong. I think,
Nakalaban niya yung sarili niya.
actually, ito rin tao laban sa self.
Voice.
Laban sa aking voices.
Voices.
Parang parang yun kasi yung feeling ko misconception namin. Na parang kapag sinabi yung corporate, desk job agad, ganyan-ganyan. Pero I don't think it's applicable to everything that as what you've mentioned nga. Yeah, so yeah.
Sophia, as someone who's worked, I think,
Yes.
mostly corporate, do you have anything you want to add
I
here?
wish it was the desk. I am looking at
You're
this
looking for the
point,
desk.
I am
Where's
looking
the
for the
desk?
desk. Where is the desk? Because I think being in marketing, there are days where you have desks, but most of the time, for you to be able to like market better, because know the brand better and being able to talk to consumers, you have to be out the desk.
Right.
I have to
Yeah.
be on the ground. I have to be everywhere. I have to be in events and conventions and everything. Although sometimes there is the desk. And I wish always there was the desk because you'll also get tired at some point and you'll appreciate the desk.
Appreciate the desk,
Appreciate the
guys.
desk.
Appreciate the desk.
I love the desk.
We love the desk.
Ikaw, Kyla, you've had like of several like internships
Yeah.
na, no? So what do you think are like the ones that stick out to you, the ones that you like, or the ones that you think, okay, I don't want this in my first job?
I would say, generally speaking, I wouldn't want a first job to feel like I'm becoming a robot. I mean, it's actually one of the, what do you call that? Ano ba tawag dun? Yung a normal feeling that you'd have in corporate, or so I've heard. Na at some point you'll feel like you're a robot because sometimes there's this routine and every day you clock in.
The corporate slave
Yeah,
term.
the corporate
Yeah.
slave mindset talaga. And ako kasi aligaga kasi ako. So hindi ako so hindi ako
Yeah.
hindi ako mapirme sa just one place. I'd love to go around. I'd love to um see different people, talk to different people. But at the same time, of course, now hearing, to love the desk. I do understand that at times, especially if the job requires you to go out. But at the same time, if they don't understand boundaries, like what we've said earlier nga, boundaries is really important for, at least for us, kasi it builds a sense of like peace in your head, or at least peace after work. Kasi ayun nga, parang yun din yung misconceptions about our generation, na Gen Zs are reclamador, tamad, or at least
True.
I think
Hindi naman natin
I also think kasi the pandemic has something to do with that. Now we were locked into our homes. I think
locked into our
locked in our homes. Like we were locked down.
out
We
of
were on
here.
lockdown for 2 years.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
and we were so used to like work from home. We were so
Yeah.
used to that study
Working in a
from
desk.
home.
Working
at
at
a desk.
Literally at
So
a
I think
desk.
I've spoken to a few like my mom. I've spoken to my
few,
mom
and it's
before.
your
Hi, mom.
Wala lang. We talked about that. Na parang it's really common because she's also a teacher. So she sees it a lot I think in her students na parang there's a common theme that she sees amongst Gen Zs na parang they don't want to be locked down to something agad. But there are also some people na just look for the corporate life agad. So again, there is no one size fits all, guys. It's really, your career is what you make of it. Your career should be you and the mark that you make on the world.
But
So
definitely like one common thread though is that
Yeah.
if you're looking for your first job, there will be like a struggle, 'di ba? So how can you paano ba yun? Like mentality wise, kasi like the forms, the technical stuff, that's par for the course.
Yeah.
But like getting yourself mentally ready to start your first job, like what does it take?
So I think it starts with a mindset that, I think have a mindset of curiosity, like don't close your mind.
Ah.
So I love that, like Sophia is like, oh my gosh, engineering is this even for me? But she said, oh, okay, you know what? I'm going to try it. It's still aligned with what matters to me, which is where I want to head next, and the foundation I want to set for your career. And I think number two, self awareness is so important.
Yeah.
I think what we're realizing is that if if you crave structure, maybe a corporate 9 to 5, maybe that, like the pandemic, you loved it. Oh my God, yes, I'm locked down. I'm locked down and
Pwede
I'm
pala
here
to.
on my desk, right?
Yeah.
I can just be here and I can just do my work and finish it. And I think so. Number one, it's really self awareness. Number two, it's curiosity. Number three, have confidence in yourself and really believe in yourself. That you know what, I'm great. I graduated from this good school, whether I got Latin honors or not. I did it. I went through hard things, and I can. And this one is actually, working after college is actually so much easier than college. At least for me, I found it so much easier. So I think it's that, having that belief, and then I think also not settling, knowing your value, but also know that, okay, wait, parang know also. I mean, I think what's interesting is you can research, you know what the current going rate is. Again, I didn't have any of that, so again, I took whatever they offered, and apparently it was lower than what they were offering other. But I said, oh my God, I didn't know that. So it was. So I think that's what's so interesting. So I think those four things will really, so be open minded, have curiosity, have self awareness, believe in yourself, know your value and know your worth, and know what you have to offer. Again, they're not hiring you because, oh, we want to train you, we want to make you better, we want to make you grow. That's not the why they're hiring you. They're hiring you because, what can you do for us? What can you contribute? How can you serve our customers? So for you, you also have to think, oh, okay, are these customers, are these employers that I want to give up 8 hours or 9 hours or even 10 or 12 hours of your life for, and I think that's really important, is they're not here for you. You are part of the machine. I think that's something you have to put in your head, that they're not here to, oh yes, yes, your growth is so important. No, your growth is important because they want to keep you. And why do they want to keep you? Because you're contributing, because you're adding value. And I think that's something to, how do I add value? How do I be of service? How can I provide, like, not just for my family, but to the customers, to my clients, to my to the
Colleagues as
to your
well.
colleagues, exactly, or to my boss. How can I not be a burden to my boss? And so, oh, ano na, oh my gosh, we have to help you. So I think those are things that just, I think, to kind of put in mind, that it's not always me, 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 me. My growth, my growth, my growth. My learning, my learning, my learning. Yeah.
I have a question because
Go.
you've mentioned the four things we need to keep in mind, and one of those are self awareness and be confident, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, but what can you tell people that are having difficulties with imposter syndrome? I'm having a hard, like, if in personal
Kyla, it's
experience.
fine. It's okay. It's okay, Kyla.
Okay, guys.
Ikaw pala
Okay,
yun.
your values.
Yes, I'm okay, guys.
You are
Magkakampi tayo
kind.
dito.
You are
This is a
smart.
call for help.
No, go, Kyla.
But
Go, go.
yeah, from a personal experience, or at least right now, I'm handling like it's more of a mental thing. I think about myself. Now I know that I have these accomplishments, I have these experiences, but I still feel that it's not enough for the dream job I want in life. So what can you tell people, or at least me? Wow. Or at least me.
Ikaw
What can you
talaga
tell
yung sabihin
yourself?
sa akin.
Diba?
Or to our audiences. Kasi,
Yeah.
that's not, parang, a lot of people feel that way
Yeah.
also.
So what can you tell them that would actually keep in mind in those four things that we need to really keep in mind? Kasi mahirap talaga na in my head, I'm this, I'm that. Pero magaling ako. Charot.
Well, first of all, welcome to the club. Everyone, no,
We all fail.
everyone has imposter syndrome. I think everyone in this room has imposter syndrome. I've spent my entire career saying, even when I do my coaching, I'm like, oh my God, why are you listening to me, right? I haven't worked in corporate for 7 years, so everyone has imposter syndrome. So I think that something is that, I know knowing that everyone has it doesn't make it less for you, but maybe it helps that, oh my gosh, even my boss or even this person interviewing me is like, ah, ang galing naman ito. Oh my gosh, she's better than me, you know? Yeah.
Oh, sino
Yeah.
ba
So,
ako?
right? So I think there's, keep that in mind that number one, everyone, welcome to the club. Everyone
Thank you
has
so
it.
much for welcoming me.
And then number two, I think you can use it as motivation. Like we always look at this as a negative thing, but what if you look at it as a positive thing? Oh, that. I'm not yet where I want to be. What do I need? What is that gap between where I am and where I want to be? And how can I cross it? Like, okay, I want to be like that woman, that boss. Okay, what is she doing? Like, how do I cross that gap? Like, what do I need to do? What actions can I take? And what mindset can I have so that, because oh, she's so confident, she believes in herself, even if mali her questions, her grammar is not that great, oh wow, she's so okay, maybe I can also stand up and speak confidently, right? The second thing is, so use it as motivation, and maybe really, I think for me, it's really make a list. I always say have a reverse, but like we always have a bucket list. Let's have a reverse bucket list. What have I already done that I'm proud of? And put that there. Yeah. So put that somewhere where you can see it and say, oh my gosh, look what I've done. I'm only, how old are you, Kyla? 24. I'm only 24, and look what I've already done. I did this, and I did this. And you can say, okay, if I was able to do that, then what's stopping me from reaching the next level? Because I was already in this position, and I was able to overcome that. And then the last maybe is really think of a challenge that you had overcome. Like, I was here, and then what strategies did you use to overcome the challenge? So all those things, I think, can really help with imposter, because I feel imposter syndrome does not serve you. In fact, it just holds you back, and I feel it's like, okay, really, what? Sige, I'll give you 2 seconds of my time to feel it, and then
get over
acknowledge
it.
it. Yeah,
Get
and
over it.
acknowledge it, and then at the end, okay, are you serving me? Are you, or you're actually not. You're holding me back, and I'm just gonna move forward.
That is very much advice. Get over it.
True. And I think drilling that down further, what I realized then is most of the imposter syndrome deals a lot with how you feel. And how you feel is different versus what you do. So, dalawang different things yon. So, how you feel, yes.
Oh.
So, parang
Intervention
you feel
Oh.
like, diba? Parang separating both dimensions, how you feel, I'm not enough, I feel like I'm not yet ready, but what you do out of it is also a big factor. And I think something that you should put more effort into. Kasi how you feel is not like, gusto ko bang maramdaman to? Like, diba? Parang, that's something very natural. But what you do takes consciousness, takes effort, takes initiative on your end that you should really pay more attention to also.
And courage.
And
I think,
courage.
yeah, have the courage to really not let be a victim to it, because it's a victim mindset rather than an empowered mindset.
Kaya mo yan, Kyla.
Thank you so much.
Kaya natin to
Kyla,
siya.
Kyla's voices.
Kaya natin to.
Ma-short laban.
Kyla's
Laban.
voices na siya, guys.
I know that whole like reverse bucket list, and then
See it in the magazine, in the next issue of the magazine, my reverse bucket list.
oh
tayo
my.
doon. Jella?
Taking notes, taking notes.
Our editorial team is here kasi. Pero what I got out of that was the reverse bucket list. That's such a great way to actually shift your mindset, especially from the imposter syndrome. Kasi personally, that's something I think we go through talaga when going out for your first job. And then also what you feel versus what you can do. Like, that's so... Guys, ang dami mo makakuha dito
Powerful
sa voices,
statement.
voices. So I think that actually answered. I don't know. Well, at least for me, that's a great piece of advice that I've heard before going into a job, I guess. And that was actually our next question, but I want to ask it again. Because you only heard the reverse bucket list like now, right? But what was siguro the best advice you've received at work that helped you navigate your first job better? So that's for Sophia.
Maybe the best advice I got during my work is that I was given reassurance that you may not be able to reach your objectives, but what's more important, or something that you should also consider, is the growth. Because all the expectations, right, coming into your first job, sabihin ko na sa'yo, sometimes they have heaven expectations for you. And it gets a little bit frustrating sometimes because, diba, when you really want to do, nag-prepare ka and everything, you think that you're able to do it, but when execution comes, it's reverse. But you learn better and you're able to execute better. And I think for me, parang acknowledging the growth and the learnings more than your what the objective is. It's
Yeah.
important.
It's
Then.
about the journey, not the
Yes.
destination.
As cliche as it may
Yeah, diba?
sound.
But it's so true. Okay, sige. Love that. So, actually, I wanted to ask Nika.
Me.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you. What is the best advice you've received? Because this is Nika's first job,
This
guys.
is my first job,
Yes.
and it is my dream job. Yeah,
Oh.
so
Wow.
so very
Yes.
thankful. But
Mm-hmm.
best advice. I don't know. It's not really like advice. It's something that I just like picked up like from all the years, the year and a half that I've been doing this. Na parang wala, just keep going. Kasi when I was in college or like in high school, I was the one who's like I can't take criticism. I can't if someone tells me I'm wrong, I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm still like that.
Uh-huh.
No, but
Uh-huh.
like yung I can't take criticism or parang if I get criticism, it's like it's over. You know, parang that's it for me. But then working at this job where your first job, you're going to make so many mistakes. Like everything is going to feel like it's a mistake. But then you really just have to like keep going and like do better next time and just like try your best. Kasi they wouldn't have accepted you if they didn't believe in you, you know, like even if you are just like an employee, they wouldn't have accepted you if they didn't see like any potential in you. Shout out Sarah. But like no, but like yun nga, diba, you have to just you keep moving forward. If I were to like go back and ask like ask like first day on the job Nika, like I would tell her na parang this is going to be the ride of your life. So all you have to do is just keep going.
Mm.
Kayo ba? Napaisip ang deep
I
nung
think
ano.
for me naman, you... Hala. Sobra.
Tissue, please.
No, I think for me, because this isn't my first job, so I think for me, it's to trust the process. Yeah, yeah, that's so cheesy. But yeah, it's to trust the process because you're going to end up where you're meant to be, and that things do not fall apart, but they fall into place. So that's no, I mean that's something I would tell myself because I remember there being a lot of fear at my first job because I didn't exactly know what I wanted to do yet, but I was just sort of like a F it, like let's get into it na because your life starts here. Like you don't know what's gonna come, but you know you'll need these experiences and you'll thank yourself for them in the long run. And I do I do take a lot of the things that I've learned from my first job into my job now, and literally the growth that I've seen also for myself. Na parang ayun na you're really gonna end up where you need to be, and in the long run, wherever that may be, God bless na lang. Ayun. So, ayun. What about you?
Siguro for me, to keep it short and simple, I'd tell my old self, congratulations. Kasi I know all the struggles, especially with the standards set to where I want to be. Because I mentioned nga, parang it was really my dream to like graduate Latin honors, be able to all that. And it's only yourself who knows how much struggle you were able to accomplish and the dreams that you have, and to be there is such a recognition. But also kasi when you're already in the loop, everything's just so fast forward. And back then, I had that super fast forward vision for myself that I wasn't able to tell myself congratulations.
Oh.
Congratulations.
Congratulations,
Congrats.
Sophia.
Wow.
What
Yun naman,
about you, Coach?
I would tell my first day past self, don't be too hard on yourself. um, don't be too hard on yourself. Your mistakes are actually not mistakes. They're lessons that you had to learn. And that where you are now is not where you're going to end up. And yeah, you will actually, life will surprise you in so much amazing ways. And you don't need to be so hard. You don't need to be so tough on yourself. You are your own worst enemy, and you can be kinder and gentler with yourself.
To our video editor who I feel like throughout this part it'll just be like dun, 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 dun. As in like it's just sad music just going kasi alam mo yung parang sa Pinoy Big Brother na yung kuya kasi like, that's all I think. But then thank you for sharing.
Thank you,
you
guys.
Sophia, and thank you Coach, and thank you Nika,
Thank
Kyla,
you,
and
Bianca.
Thank you, Bianca. Thank
you're
you.
welcome, guys. I hope you guys take those into consideration as you guys are going to
job this
Yeah, when you
year. Si
navigate.
Kyla.
Si
This year, si
Kyla.
Kyla.
Good
And
luck.
when you
Hire me.
graduate.
Yeah.
So ayun. So now we'll be moving on to SOS. Okay. So now we are going to get into the nitty gritty and to the last part of today's episode. Oh, ba't walang nagsan?
Isa pa.
So time to get into the nitty gritty and for the last part of today's episode. We'll be getting into specific questions that people are asking, looking into sticky situations that young people find themselves in. So whether that be during the application process or when you're already in the office, we're sending out the SOS to you, Coach Aurora. So Sophia, Kyla, and Shaun, if you guys have any SOS, feel free to ask away. But we'll start. So, SOS. It's been months at my first job and I really don't feel like it's right for me. What do I do?
I always say, give it at least 6 months. The way that your company has a probationary period for you, it's also your probationary period for yourself and for the company. You are also assessing the company. You are also assessing yourself and your own fit with a company. And sometimes I think if we just are there for the first month, things can change. Suddenly, the things you were not so confident or comfortable doing, after doing it 2, 3, 4 more times, you're suddenly, oh my gosh, okay, this is easier already. So I always say give it at least 6 months if you're not fired before then. No, but if you're not, because obviously you don't feel like maybe you're already dragging your feet. You're not sorry, you can erase that, but but you might be dragging your feet. You're not showing up as your full productive self. They might really let you go before the 6 months are over. But I always feel just give it your best shot in the 6 months. And at the end of the 6 months, you can say, you know what? I gave it my best shot. I assessed. I came to a very educated decision. And then I can go. I think I always like that people look at their first 6 months as data gathering. This is what I like. This is what I don't like. Yeah. So I think this is what I like. This is what I do. Again, like falling in love or dating, right? This is what I like. This is what I don't like, which will then help you make an informed choice that, okay, knowing this, do I want to stay or do I want to go? And if you say, okay, I want to go, okay, did you give it your best shot or not? Yes, I gave it my best shot. So again, there are no regrets and you're not leaving with burned bridges. You never know. Manila is so small. You never know who you will run into. They can be the one interviewing you in a future job and you're like, oh my gosh,
Hot take. I think a lot of like the newer generation like coming to the workforce, including like us, like our generation, like our batch. Oh, we're a bunch of quitters. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I agree though.
Like I have like friends, I have like people in batches that I know that like they're hopping from like job to job to job, and they're
Which
not,
can be a red flag for some HRs.
yes,
Yeah.
like it's fine to try things out and everything to leave talaga when you feel that it's wrong. But I know kasi like syempre if they're my friends, diba? Like I know that they're just like hopping kasi parang there's one thing that turned them off. They didn't give it a chance. They cut and run. So ayun.
Hot take talaga yan.
Yeah, and HR really looks at that. Yeah,
Yes, yeah.
that's a big red flag for future employment. So watch, yeah. And again, what may be the one thing? Again, sometimes you're really being called to excellence. You're being called to be the next version of yourself.
Hello?
Para naging superhero tayo, diba? Tama. Tama, guys. Tama.
You're being called to the next version of yourself. It's very uncomfortable. It really is. And sometimes, again, you have to separate the feeling from the action. That it's uncomfortable, but you know what? Maybe I'm being called to being better. And I'm ready to take this challenge because I want to be better.
Period. Ayan,
I
when
love
you hear the
that.
call, you say,
Hello?
Hello din yung sabihin ko. Hello?
Help.
Hello? Sino to? Wrong number, wrong number.
recruiter na pala yun. Oh,
Recruiter na pala,
diba?
mali.
Ordering wrong.
Okay,
So-
eto naman, important.
Go.
SOS. What's something that I should know or they should know before they start working that isn't usually taught at school?
Someone younger can answer that.
Not taught at school. What they should know that's not taught at school is that there's really nothing that you'll know when you start your first job. You know?
Nothing.
Imagine like
Zero.
investing so much years, so much time, all everything, and you start your first job and you know zero. And zero.
Zero. It's zero. It's true.
Barely anything. Especially with me, diba? Parang I said, I studied marketing, started engineering, and maybe for some, it's good that you do. But there are cases na parang sometimes it's really zero or you'll never really know until you're there. And what I loved about it is that it's also where learning comes from. Kasi there's really, like, how could you know what you're gonna be working on? Like, when you're studying, diba? Parang wow.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for me talagang you have to immerse yourself and that's where you learn. So, okay lang yun.
You know what? One of the best advices I've ever received from my dad for the workplace was parang I asked him for advice, basically how to make it in the workforce, and he was like, "Learning never stops." So I was like, "Okay." And then I went for it. I was like, "Okay, thanks." But it's true, eh. Like what you
Yeah.
said, like it really it will never stop. And sometimes you don't know everything, and that's okay. You don't know something until you know. So
Yeah. And there, I
Amen.
think there are different types of learners. May mga learners na visual, may mga learners na doers and everything.
mm-mm.
And according to
My citation siya.
Citation.
Sorry.
Can you put that in a
Meron
footnote,
lang akong
guys?
nabasa research back then. Pero like a lot of people, especially younger people, are doers. So, do it and learn it.
Yeah.
I have a question though. Speaking of like red flags and green flags, what are like employers' red flags in recruiting people? Like, oh, we don't want these kinds of people. We don't want
May
that.
tatago ka ng ano, no? Kababalaghan.
Oo, para alam na namin yung mga iiwasan namin.
I think
Tatanggalin yun yung red flags.
Yes.
Yes,
for me,
coach.
I think I always like it when your employer, especially when you're in the final interviews, meaning you're speaking with your direct boss already, that you're not, they're actually interested in you and they genuinely care for you. They're not just there to do it on the to-do list. And they're there on time. I think they make sure that they're there. They care, and I think also seeing the energy of the workplace. Like, does it feel like when you enter, intuitively you're like, oh, this feels heavy. Like I remember because I would do a lot of field work when I was in my past corporate job, and we'd enter offices that are so quiet, like parang hospital. Yeah. And again, that was really the culture. And for me, I'm like, oh my God, I could never work here. But of course, it was a very huge multinational company. And so obviously, a lot of people thrived in that environment because they were very successful. So I said, oh, see, again, knowing yourself and knowing, feeling that energy, seeing the person, your boss, like, oh, will I actually get along with this person? Right. But of course, first impression, sometimes wrong, sometimes right. So that's also something that you will learn as you go on because you're both obviously putting your best foot forward. Yeah, and then seeing how the employees are, right? So like today when I entered, everyone was like laughing, happy. So I'm like, oh, this feels good, right? This feels like people are genuinely interested in what they're doing and genuinely interested in doing a good job, right? So, okay, this is what I want to be part of.
Yeah, in a very Gen Z way, it's to see if you vibe.
Yeah.
It's to see
We
if you
vibe, we
vibe, I
vibe.
think.
Okay,
So,
vibe check. Uh, well,
not gonna benefit each other.
speaking of like vibe, how would you know if like, oh, is this employer like interested in me or something? Kasi when you're applying, you're parang still in the anxiety level na interested ba siya sa akin or parang, oh, it's just the
It's giving
process.
relationship.
Oh my God.
There's so many things
Jowa.
about this entire like
Jowa yan.
podcast. Na I was like,
Nahalata pa lang may anxiety
Oo,
attachment issues tayo.
na parang there's so many like similarities between getting into a relationship and then getting into your first job. Like, will I be in it? It's not the same thing.
It's
not
not.
the same thing.
It's
But
not.
there are a lot of like in terms of the commitment, the learning.
You really can't. Some people, some recruiters, because like HR for instance, you might like interview someone, they would be, they would say, na, oh, you'd be, yeah, you would be like a good fit. I think you would be a good fit here. But then you really can't get to the goal of knowing that you vibe or not unless they hire you, diba? So just
Yeah.
like you can just do your best and just let it flow. Let it
Actually,
flow.
I asked. Sorry, Sophia.
Go,
I
go.
asked my HR about yung question mo kanina, yung sa red flags, green flags. Parang a red flag that they said also was apart from the vibe, because obviously they'll see your personality, see if you're fit, both depending on your CV and you as a person. But they also have a red flag na if you don't do enough research
About where you're
about
Oh,
where you're
yeah.
going
Yeah.
to.
I
Yeah.
also heard that.
Yeah, and I think that's something a lot of us can take out of because there are so many unanswered questions, diba? So how do we know? We do our research. We ask people. This is why we have voices. This is why we have the career fair. That's also that's also plug
Plug
lang.
na.
That's also out during that the episode will air actually during NYLON's career fair. So slay. Ayun. So I just wanted to put that out there. So sorry, Sophia, you can
No,
go.
go ahead. I was actually saying, parang in terms of vibe, I think something that I also appreciated during my interviews was I asked HR. Like
Yeah.
I asked them like, so given all the applicants that you have, I also want to try to improve myself also. Syempre, vibe mo din yung HR. Medyo vibe kayo. But I don't think naman it's bad to ask also the HR, how do you see me fit given this role? Because maybe it's not the character, but it's the experience that you're looking for. At least you get a sense of what you need to improve and what type of positions you'll be able to try more for.
I think,
Love
yeah.
that.
So I think also the questions they ask, wow, are they asking stupid questions? They just got it off Chat GPT, or are the questions that their answers to your own questions. Never ever leave an interview when they say any questions. Please ask questions. Do not ever
Yes.
say, oh, no questions po. Please always ask questions. Please, because that's when, so in fact, some interviewers, if you answer that, that's it, you're cut. You have to ask, well, because this is when you can ask about culture, your fit,
Yeah.
your training, all the things that are valuable to you, and then you can also look at their own answers to that. Then you can say, okay, we're not a match also.
We're not a match.
We're not meant to be.
You're not meant to be.
Relationship talaga to. Hindi
What
talaga
if
to
like my
career.
workplace? Never mind. No. No. I was gonna be like, what if there's like a dating app, but it's for finding jobs, and then I realized
That's
there's
just
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
I know.
It's just
I'm done, guys. Okay, so there you have it, besties. We've laid down the stitch, spilled the tea, and sent out an SOS that were thankfully answered. So there are so many things about the first job, the workplace, your second job, your third job, your career that we were able to answer here today and share our perspectives. So thank you so much, Shaun, Sophia, Kyla, and Coach Aurora for sharing your insights with us.
Right. So when you come into your first job, you gotta keep an open mind. You gotta just try. You gotta see what's fit for you. And yeah, as you can see, like you have two students here who are looking for their first job. So hopefully you guys picked up a thing or two. And again,
Yeah.
thank you guys for all your advice as well, coming into the workplace and also balancing like how you feel and like what you do when you're already there.
Yeah,
Diba?
do your research,
Yeah,
be
do your research,
self-aware.
be self-aware.
Parang
Balance.
relationship lang yan.
Yes.
Again, it's not the same.
It's not the same.
Kind of like.
But yeah, that's it. That's all the time we have for today.
And we hope our voices helped you find yours on this topic, and know that you're not alone, because we know that it is hard to figure out your path, because for sure I have not figured out what is in store for my path yet, but trust that the journey will get better and things will fall into place.
If you want, let your voice be heard, or if you have any other questions for anyone here, for if you want to check back in a year and see what Kyla's doing, if you have questions or comments or any other things that you want us to cover on Voices, please feel free to leave a comment below.
Stay tuned for the next episode of Voices, and don't forget to follow NYLON Manila on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, and TikTok. So thank you again to our guests, Sophia, Kyla, Shaun, and Coach Aurora. This has been Bianca
And Nika.
for NYLON Manila
Voices.
Voices. So thank you so much for
watching.
watching or listening. Bye. Bye.